G'day humans, what's good word? Chris Thunder here for another edition of Wrestling Hostile. I have been sick and unfortunately Alex cannot join me this evening as he is still sick, so we send our best wishes out to Alex for a speedy recovery. But yes, we are here for a brief preview of WrestleMania weekend. We've already had some events going on and boy will we get there, but off the top, bit of housekeeping. Shout out to the boys at Red Center Rumble. I'm sure some of the humans would have seen it as we did reshare that on some of our social feeds. They made a good little clip shouting out some of the other Aussie wrestling podcasts, so that's Red Center Rumble. They also shouted Down Under the Mat and Aussie Heat, so I will try to get those links for you in the description. But speaking about links in the description, we have the Wrestling Hostile Discord now available publicly. Come join the discussion about Aussie, New Zealand wrestling and wrestling in general, because we all enjoy having a bit of fun here. Yes, I do shit stir Alex about Cody, but it's all in good fun. I'm not going to be stirring everyone that much in the Discord, I promise. So yeah, come by, say g'day, have fun. We're about 10 members already, which is pretty good so far. A lot is happening in the wrestling world, and I think that's a discussion best suited for another day, but most notably since we last talked, Elimination Chamber happened. Kevin Owens has a neck injury and is currently, I guess, on hiatus, or unclear if he is coming back, I guess. And then, John Cena wins the men's chamber, going on to face Cody Rhodes, and then maybe a little heel turn, and John turns heel. Did not expect this on the retirement tour. Will not say that I'm upset by it, but did not see it coming. WWE, very successful tour over in Europe. We'll talk about AEW, TNA stuff another day because, like I said, just sort of a brief catch-up rundown of some of the stuff that's been going on. I think the European crowds helped a lot, and we can get into some of the individual builds going into Mania, but yeah, I think overall WrestleMania build has been lacking a heck of a lot, and as some of the other people online have pointed out, it sort of doesn't feel like a WrestleMania build in some respects, but I'm sure the people go out there and deliver. Also, the advertised 9-hour block for each night does not sound appealing, but oh boy. SmackDown today. WrestleMania SmackDown. Live, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Kicked off with the, as in terms of in-ring action, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. They talk how Bronson Reed won it last year, and it sort of catapulted him to bigger things. Bit of a shame big boy Bronson out at the moment. Hopefully back soon. Yes, indeed. But we get out of that, it sort of comes down to a few people, one of those being Rey Fenix, Kamala Hayes at Andrade, and Rey Fenix is eliminated by El Grande Americano. So he's not in the match officially, and sort of takes out Rey Fenix, which will lead to a segment backstage later on. And it comes down to Andrade and Carmelo Hayes here getting the win. I mean, it's good. I thought they should have done a lot more with Carmelo Hayes in the previous calendar year, especially when Carmelo had that great singles match just after Cody won the title last year. excuse me, I thought a lot more would have come from that, but he just sort of sat on the back burner, had that big 7 match with Andrade, had that 3-way match for the US title, and hasn't really done much else other than now tagging with The Miz as Mellow Don't Miz. Terrible tag team name. But sure, why not? Let's see where this goes. Other in-ring action, the WWE Tag Team Championship, that's the SmackDown version of the belts, got defended as we saw Street Profits, the reigning champs, and their challengers. Motor City Machine Guns finish in DQ because DIY runs in. Boo. So backstage, Aldous goes, right, DIY, you can do this the easy way or the hard way. And Aldous has security there, and DIY goes, oh, fine. Hands Aldous back the belts, and Aldous goes, I've had enough of this. TLC for the belts. You free. Crowd cheers. Next week. Crowd boos. You're telling me in 18 hours of WrestleMania, you don't have 20 minutes to put on a TLC match for your tag titles? Ridiculous. Zelina Vega in a non-title match pins Chelsea Green via a super code red off the top rope in 3 minutes 33. Hell of an upset. Also, why is your women's US champ not on WrestleMania? Laughable. LA Knight defeats Solo Sikoa by DQ because Jacob Fatu interference. I love you, Solo. And then out to even up the numbers is Braun Strowman, and we get an impromptu tag team match. Should have had Teddy Long come out for the night and just make it a tag team match. Cheap Pop, he's probably there for the Hall of Fame. Come on. And that goes to a tag team match straight ahead as LA Knight and Braun Strowman defeat Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And I was sort of mentioning this, like, it feels like Solo Sikoa's aura has just plummeted in the last year. And yeah, from where he was positioned before, it has just dropped off. And the main event, at least the main event match, or the final match of the evening for television, was Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee, who confronted American Made backstage earlier in the night and got the win in a triple threat match here. All in all, the in-ring action, I'd say, was pretty good. The crowd did help a lot. Rollins sing in the ring in the pipe bomb position, throwing jabs at Punk, throwing jabs at Roman, throwing jabs at AEW because, ooh, look at me. It was fine. Yeah, as I sort of mentioned, I don't think I did mention it. Rey Fenix eliminated Chad Gable, and that's why El Grande Americano ran back in. Shinsuke Nakamura's back. I can't remember how long he's been back for now, but was it earlier this year or late last year he lost the US title back to LA Knight? Yeah. Because he had a family member pass away and went back to Japan. That being Shinsuke Nakamura went back. The sit-down interviews with Charlotte and Tiffy were just horrible. It's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Things went awry here. They're either going to deliver great on... I can't even remember what night it is. They're either going to deliver great at WrestleMania, or it's going to be another case of, what was that really bad match? I don't think it was for a title. Charlotte and Nia, perhaps? Perhaps. There was the women's promo segment with Io and Bianca and Rhea that led into Naomi and Jade coming down. I mean, that's a good use of your women. Like Naomi saying that, oh, Bianca, this is your first time back on SmackDown. You're not going to talk to me. And then Jade comes in afterwards. I jumped on the tag match. I said I think it's dumb how you have 18 hours set aside for WrestleMania, but you can't give these guys a TLC match at WrestleMania. Oh yeah, Chelsea Green lost that match so quick because the Secret Service was banned from ringside by Aldis after she had served him papers in the GM's office earlier in the night. Randy Orton issues an open challenge for WrestleMania. WrestleMania Sunday, I believe. I will be going through that in a moment. Cardi B is announced as the WrestleMania host. Okay, cool, I guess. Maybe I'm just old man yells at cloud with my musical taste. And then we get the Cena Rhodes face-to-face, which I felt was fine, and the crowd booing Cody at points. What's going to happen on Sunday? Because Cody lays out John Cena again. So you're either having Cena turn heel for Cody to win, or you're having the old sort of telltale sign of a person stands tall on go home but loses on pay-per-view. I think it'll be interesting. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of the 3-hour SmackDowns. I sort of caught most of this. I was getting up and doing like breakfast dishes and that in between, but caught most of this. I think 3-hour SmackDowns are too long, but 3-hour SmackDowns and 3-hour Raws are like hold my beer, because in the coming weeks we've got 4-hour AEW Dynamites for some fucking reason. Oh boy. But yeah, overall SmackDown, thumbs up this week. What about the Hall of Fame? The Hall of Fame. Alright, where did I... Because I was sort of giving just brief notes on this. Hall of Fame class of 2025. They had this in a different arena, so they weren't packing down the ring and then going back. It was just, yeah, in a totally different arena. I did like that. First inducted is Lex Luger, being inducted by Diamond Dallas Page. Page talks a lot about how Luger had it all and sort of made bad choices in his life. And Dallas Page, like he did with a lot of people, like Jake the Snake, like Scott Hall, helped Luger recover, and now Luger's got his life back on track. But not only that, he's gone from needing a wheelchair to now being able to walk. Luger is wheeled out in his wheelchair, but stands up at the podium for his entire speech, says, "We had to call an audible. I had a bad fall getting into the cab to, I think it was Atlanta," he said, leaving Atlanta to get to the airport. Yeah, I thought Luger's speech was pretty good. Luger has sort of been one of those glaring omissions from that sort of new gen attitude era sort of class, and I do use new gen attitude era timeline terminology, but also including that same time era in WCW, because Luger winning that title from Hollywood Hogan and the locker room just emptying is one of those like big feel good babyface moments. Like you would have seen it with I was going to say Sting, but no, with Cody last year at Mania, so that sort of thing. Also, is Luger a Triple Crown winner in WCW terminology? Question mark. Hang on, I'm just trying to have a quick look here. I'm calling an audible here as we're live. We're live, pal. I can't remember what the Triple Crown is for, or was rather, for WCW. Yeah, he is a Triple Crown winner of WCW. US title in 87, tag title with Barry Windham, who's also in the Hall of Fame, in 88, and then the world title in July of 91. Oh, I don't remember who he beat in July of 91. His second reigns against which is the one they showed in the video package, which is the one against Hogan, July of 91. Oh, he wins the vacated title after Flair leaves. Luger was originally the number one contender to face Flair, but following Flair's departure, Luger defeated Barry Windham in a steel cage match to win the vacated title at the Great American Bash in Baltimore, Maryland, 1991. See, Alex was here. Like, it's a shame that he's sick. If Alex was here, he'd be telling me all this stuff off the top of his head. Second this year, and we did have a few legacy wing inductees this year, but they're doing it differently. They're doing a dedicated video package to each person and then acknowledging that person's family in the crowd, which I thought was a really nice touch this year. So first of the legacy wings is Kamala. A lot of NWA sort of title runs. NWA Mississippi heavyweight champion, Tri-State US tag team champion, AWA Southern heavyweight champion, USWA, which sort of came out of, was that the merger of Memphis and World Class, unified world heavyweight champion? He had that, this is early Taker, this is like Zombie Taker, had that casket match with Taker where you see Paul Bearer go, "Yes, my Undertaker," and you can just see Taker in the background just planing this wood to make this big giant casket for Kamala. Yeah, Kamala, sort of a persona, a character of a bygone era. The wild savage of the untamed jungles, as it were, it is a product of a bygone era. I'm just trying to think of the last time I really saw anything like that. Would have been, I guess, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus in early AEW. But even that wasn't to the extent of this. Boogeyman, mid-2000s? Yeah, that's probably the last sort of one I can think of. But yeah, Kamala, the Ugandan giant, had passed away in 2020 due to cardiac arrests and complications with diabetes. It's sad some of these guys never got their flowers whilst they were alive, so to speak. Alright, third being inducted in the Hall of Fame is Michelle McCool being inducted by Undertaker. And Undertaker sort of tells a nice story about Michelle and how Michelle sort of pursued him, and then Michelle comes out and says, no, it wasn't really like that. She talks about how she was a school teacher. I didn't know that. Sort of signed up to Divas Search on a friend's dare. I never knew that either. First ever Divas champ, 2-time women's champ, combined 4-time champion in the WWE. A lot of people would remember her for Lay Cool. and Layla's in the crowd, and she sort of hints to Layla, maybe we come back. Maybe we could be flawless. Is Layla in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. This is the first time I've seen Layla at a WWE event in years, to be honest, I can think of. Layla, Divas Champ, Women's Champ, Divas Search, Slammy Award. No, not in the Hall of Fame. She should be. I honestly thought they would have put Lake Hall in together as a women's duo. But yeah, there you go. Michelle McCool. They were sort of a really dominant women's tag team at the time when there wasn't a women's tag team, and you did have them with this weird sword in half women's title as co-holders of the title. Is that recognised? It might be. I can't remember. I think one of them isn't recognised. Michelle McCool was unofficially the co-champion during... Okay, she was unofficial champion when the belt got unified, as Layla was official champ. There you go. But yeah, Layla also someone of that era who probably could go in the Hall of Fame soon. Following that was the legacy package for Dory Funk Sr., the man who pioneered Texas Deathmatch, so they said. Owner of the Western States Sports, which is from Amarillo, Texas. Of course, the father of Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk. Man, I'm just having a quick look now. Western States Sports, founded 1946 and closed down 1981. The Funk Brothers sold the territory to wrestlers Blackjack Mulligan and Dick Murdoch. The promotion was closed shortly afterwards. Oh, well, I guess the Funks got their money out of it at least. I haven't really seen much of Dory Funk Sr. I just sort of know of his son's work, mainly Terry. His sons being the only brothers to hold the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, which is crazy when you think about that sort of era. The Briscoes, and I'm talking the original Briscoes, Jack and Gerald, the Funks, Dory and Terry, all the Von Erich kids who went through during that time. It is just crazy to think that his two sons are the only two to this day to hold the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. He himself, this is Dory Sr., being a NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Western States Heavyweight Champion. A lot of these belts are now retired. 8-time Southwest Junior Heavyweight Champion. So there you go. But yeah, a man, unfortunately, I am not too familiar with. Fifth to be inducted on the night was the natural disasters. Earthquake being represented here by his family. And where's my notes? Typhoon. Fred Hopman. Yes, we all know Fred Hopman's most famous character and moment in wrestling. We're not going to talk about that tonight. One-time WWF Tag Team Champions. I, for the life of you, could not name who they beat on paper or who they lost to, so I'm going to have a quick look. Why? Because I can. Thank you very much. It wasn't the 70s, it was the 90s, early 90s. Okay, so they win at a house show in Worcester, Massachusetts. They had defeated the team of Money Inc., Erwin R. Shyster, and Ted DiBiase. Holy crap. And they would go on to hold these for 85 days, losing at the Wrestling Challenge. Is the Wrestling Challenge after WrestleMania 3? I'm just trying to think. 5, 6. That's 7. So that'd be WrestleMania. After WrestleMania 8 in October of 92, they lose back to Money Inc., Erwin R. Shyster and Ted DiBiase Sr. in Regina, Saskatchewan, in Canada. Shocking. Yeah, it is sad that Earthquake no longer here to accept this award. He himself had passed away in 06? Yes, 2006 from cancer, sadly. But both men here, said they were good friends, they got paired together, and they just had a lot of fun with it. Where to next from there? They're not inducted by anyone, it's just they play the video package, the family comes out, the family of Earthquake speaks for a bit, and then Typhoon speaks for a bit himself. Next is the first, what did they call this? Immortal moment with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart match from WrestleMania 13 that also featured special guest referee Ken Shamrock, which, as Punk is doing the induction, makes a special shout out to the TNA Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock. Does this technically make Bret the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, being a three-time WWE Hall of Famer? Question mark. I mean, does this count as Hall of Fame? In the same sense that the other accomplishment counts as a Hall of Fame, as his individual and his tag team induction in 2019 with Natty on the stage when they inducted Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I don't know. I think Bret's technically the first three-time Hall of Famer, and so he should be. Stone Cold sort of does his Stone Cold thing. I found this okay. It's sort of I've already, these two guys you've heard a lot from over the years, and you can see why they chose this match. Personally, it's not my favourite ever WrestleMania match. Anyone who's a long-time listener will know that would be WrestleMania 10, brother versus brother. Thank you. But relation with the family of Owen, understandable. You can't go there really, so next best match, probably this. Okay, after the Immortal moment was the Legacy Wing induction of Ivan Koloff, the one-time WWF World Heavyweight Champion, the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff, who had passed away in February of 2017 from liver cancer. Held a number of, I'm just looking at this, NWA territory titles, including the World Television title that would go on to become the WCW TV title. I'm just seeing if there's anything else here. The he's a 5-time NWA World Tag Team Champion that would go on to be the WCW Tag Team belts. And famously ended Bruno Sammartino's 2,803-day reign as the WWF World Heavyweight Champion, the longest reign in the title's history. I think the story is that famously Bruno thought that he went deaf that night, if I'm remembering the right title loss. Let's have a look here, because I think I'm remembering the right title loss, because it's in the Garden, and Bruno, in an interview, I can't remember if it's his Hall of Fame or a different interview, says that he thought he went deaf because the crowd was just that quiet upon the 3 count. Yeah, it is this one. Because the other one is Superstar Billy Graham. Beats Bruno. There you go. Superstar. Oh, that one's in yeah, so it is this one, because this one's the one in the Garden, the other one's in Baltimore. And Bruno thought that he went deaf because the crowd was just shocked. They were in disbelief that Bruno had lost in the Garden. They did show a little bit of footage of this, which I was unaware this footage even existed in the WWE archives, but it was probably there on some tape somewhere. Again, a man who, other than like that little bit of trivia and him being a manager, mentor for the Russians in some colour footage that I've seen, a man who I've not really seen that much of, sadly. And last to go in is this year's headliner, Paul Triple H Levesque. They're sort of interchanging between the night between Triple H and Paul Levesque and Paul Triple H Levesque and the game Triple H, so we're just going to cross off all the names under the sun that we can. Second induction, as he went in with the group of DX in 2019, 9-time WWE World Champ, 5-time WWE Big Gold Champ, so I'm just saying this in audio form to distinguish between the two belts. 5-time IC Champ, 2-time European Champ, 1-time Tag Champ, WWE Tag Champ, so that must be New DX, and then 2-time WWF World Tag Champ. Because when they unified all the belts, they cut most of the lineage except for the World. Don't ask me why, it does my head in. 2-time Rumble winner, 2002, 2016. Who the hell did he last eliminate in 2016? Who the hell was the runner-up? Dean Ambrose. Oh, that's the one for the championship where Roman's final 3 is Roman, Dean, and Triple H. Oh, that's right. I hated that Rumble. Is Seth not even in that Rumble? Huh. No, he's not. Okay. Anywho. Must have been a different match on the card. Doesn't matter. Other things. Triple H. It's sort of this weird thing because I have indie footage of Triple H before WCW that I've never seen as well. Him in WCW, Terrorizing, Jean-Paul Levesque, then comes over to WWE, WWF at the time, as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Blue Blood. Then after the curtain call sort of thing morphs into this rebel as Triple H, assuming control of DX. The new DX, the Night the Outlaws and X-Pac come out. going through to 2000, coming back, winning the 2002 Rumble, transforming himself into the King of Kings era, going back to the Revival. Oh, actually, before that, there's the Evolution period. Then there's the return of DX with Michaels and Hornswoggle for some reason. Then it's sort of, what's that take us to? 2009. And then sort of goes into the King of Kings era and the Authority era, which sucked. And yeah, it just goes through all that. If you like people talking about their entire career, this was the induction for you. About an hour. It was good. I enjoyed most of it. Does talk up a lot about his family. Did mention Vince, which, look, he said it in the nicest way possible. It's complicated. He's my father-in-law. He's children's grandfather. It's complicated. Which I didn't expect him to say at all, anything of. But he went there, so props to him. Overall, Hall of Fame, pretty good this year. The question is, what year does Dave Bautista go in? Because he was announced for 2020, I believe, and he still hasn't gone in. So there's either been a falling out there along the way or something. I think he was supposed to go in the 2020 Hall of Fame that didn't happen until the following year behind closed doors. And then by then, Dave was off doing other stuff. I do just want to check that briefly. Hopefully there's no pop-up ads on here. Due to obligations, will not be... Yeah, okay, he was supposed to be in the class of 2020 alongside Bella Twins, NWO, JBL, British Bulldog, and Jushin Thunder Liger. Okay. And that's sort of the last update we officially heard on the matter anyway. From there... Yeah, so overall, thumbs up Hall of Fame. Although Triple H's speech did get a bit haystacks and Mr. T towards the end. Alrighty. From there, we can do a brief chat about what the hell was I going to say? Brief chat about... Yes, preview. Stand and Deliver. Live. T-Mobile Arena. NXT. Alright. So, there is a bunch of matches announced on here, which... Hell, I think this is a pretty good card for your Stand Deliver. Yes, I haven't touched on AEW or any of the other Mania weekend shows or even New Japan. That's next week or the week after, I don't know, depending on time. Now, but speaking of that, I do have things in the works that maybe we will have something special for a certain GCW show. That's all I can say right now. Nothing 100% locked in. Alright, Stand Deliver. One pre-show match announced, which is a fatal four-way elimination match to determine the number one contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championship. It will see Metaphor, Lash Legend, and Chikara Jackson versus Fatal Influences, Fallon Henley and JC James versus Tannen Paxley and Gigi Dolan versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. The problem I have here is Roxanne's sort of in this weird half call-up, half back in NXT sort of fishing bobble. She's sort of just bouncing in between the two at the moment. She's not officially caught up, but having matches on SmackDown, but then she's back in NXT in sort of a title contention. So, yeah. Nothing against the girl. She can go. I'm just like, WWE, choose a lane. Either she's a tag team wrestler with Cora Jade, which, hell yes, good team, or you're going other places with it. I didn't notice this during the week. What is her name from... what is it? Her name from Fatal Influence, the other member. Jasmine Nix. Let's just say Jasmine Nix went to Disney World with her boyfriend, and they were live streaming themselves, making a bunch of dumb comments, shall we say. So I do not expect to see her here. However, I did miss this week's NXT, so she may or may not have already popped up. Who do I think is going to get the win there? Well, there is only one Women's Tag Team Championship now. There's no NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Even though there should be, if you want to foster a goddamn Women's Tag Team division and not just throw everyone together. I think Roxanne and Cora are ready to go up. And I think if you do those as a tag team, you can go places. But they sort of lean more heel, and our champs at the moment are heel because they're wrestling on one of the nights of WrestleMania. Yeah, it's it's Judgment Day. Of course, who holds tag belts in WWE main roster? Answer most of the time, Judgment Day. Oh man. Probably the Metaphor girls. Just because I can't see him turning both Roxanne and Cora face. Because they both play heel so well. Yeah, I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to lock in Metaphor. Alright. Well, match number 2, ladder match. And this is all on the main show portion from now on. Ladder match for the vacated NXT Women's North American Championship. Usually it's the men getting the ladder match for the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver TakeOver WrestleMania. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. We see Zarya, Kalani Jordan, the new WWE Speed Women's Champion, Sol Ruka. Yes, she bet Candice LeRae, and I don't think that many people watch Speed. Izzy Dame, Lola Vice, Thea Hale. Thea Hale, who's just returned under a new persona. Green gold glasses on. Zarya. Taking those off. I don't see Sol getting it. Or Izzy. Kalani's already had it. Lola, I don't think has. No, she hasn't yet. So that'd be good for her to have. She can defend them in those NXT Underground matches. That'd be something different. Thea Hale. So with the green gold glasses off, my pick would probably be Lola Vice. Thea Hale's a good dark horse coming back with this new persona, unless you're going to spin her and someone else off to a match. Maybe Kalani Jordan and Thea Hale. Who knows? Third match listed here. This is not in card order as well. Fatal 4-way match for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, the champion. Challenging her is Julia, Jordan Grace, Jada Parker. There is a world here where Miss Parker fluke pins Jordan Grace while Stephanie and Julia are arguing amongst each other, or vice versa. I don't know. This probably is the hardest match to call on the entire Takeover Stand Deliver show. I don't see him going back to Julia straight away. Jordan Grace would be a great choice, and then you spin Stephanie and Julia off to their own singles feud without the title. I think this could honestly go either way anyway, actually. Because, yeah, Jada Parker does have that Florida crowd right behind her. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say champ retains. A match that I think should be a banger, and it'll just depend whether these guys are getting a nod to come up or not after Mania. Fraxium, the defending champs, taking on Hank and Tank for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Fraxium retain. 99% lock, I'd say. Hank and Tank, you know, they're a fun team, but come on, it's Fraxium. It's like the team that carried the entire tag division of North American wrestling last year, just about. Singles match for the NXT North American Championship. Ricky Saints, the champion, versus All Ego Ethan Page. I mean, Saints has only just got this belt. The former Ricky Starks. I mean, leave the belt on, switch the belt to... I'm going to say Ricky Saints walks out with this championship. 6-man tag team match that I have kind of low interest in. The D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stack-Lorenzo, and Luca Casafisto will take on Dark State and their members, which is like a mixture of Retribution and Shield stable. Oh, God, this thing. Yeah, just D'Angelo. Dark State should win this to build some credibility, but I don't think it's working. I don't think it's connecting the way they want to, so I think D'Angelo family should win. Triple threat match for the NXT Championship that will, I'd say, probably main event. That being Obafemi, Trick Williams, Javon Evans. My brain froze there for a moment. Obafemi, your defending champion, who had a pretty good match with Moose recently. Trick's ready to go. Javon, about the same. Leave it on Oba. Yeah, I'd say leave it on Oba. Alright, WrestleMania. Night 1. Live. We'll see. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther, the defending champ, versus Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso. Yeet. Yeah, I think Jey wins this. They've watered down Gunther so much since his loss to Cody. It's kind of sad. Tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship. Surprisingly, Judgment Day not in this match, as War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, the defending champs, take on New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I expect Big E to be on commentary for this, unless they're going to do physicality through the commentary table. Who wins? New Day should, but it feels like 3 months too late to actually, get going with them as this heel group. Yeah, it's sort of a match I don't care about, same as the first match. Match number 3, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, which for some reason Wikipedia has listed as Chad Gable. Okay, I get he's in American-made looking tights, but I don't think he's Chad Gable, Wikipedia. You need to fact check better. Rey Grande. Who does Rey win and unmask El Grande Americano? Possibly, but that's more... he has been insulting Lucha Libre a lot, so I was going to say that's more heelish to unmask a luchador. But I do feel that the luchadors would be justified in unmasking him. I think Rey wins and unmasks El Grande Americano. A match that has been built really well, surprisingly, and also like the first women's match not for a championship on WrestleMania in like a decade. I'd have to look it up, but I was saying like it was years and years. I do not have it in front of me, do I? No, and I do not have the patience to go through every single goddamn WrestleMania. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, stemming from Naomi laying out Jade backstage. She did it for the Bianca. Or so we thought. Yeah, this should be good. This is the one that needed a Sin City street fight stipulation attached to it, but I think they'll go out there and they'll tear the house down. I think these two women here, with what limited TV time they've had, will do a far superior job than Tiffany and Charlotte. My pick for that, though, is Jade gets the win, babyface pop. Woo, Jade's back. It's sort of weird because in Hunter's Hall of Fame speech, he's saying, look up and down the WrestleMania card. It's a lot of NXT people. I'm going, yeah, and a few AEW people as well in there. We have, following that singles match for the US Championship, L.A. Knight, the defending champ, against Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo. We just course correct now to Jacob Fatu and Jacob Fatu gets the US title? I think so. Match number 6. Okay, we'll get this out of the way. Singles match for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton, defending champ, against Charlotte Flair. Oh dear God, the build to this. The god-awful split screen. Then the in-ring interview where Charlotte goes, Tiffany, I can't hear you. Tiffany, squeaky voice. And leads to Tiffany going on about Charlotte's divorces. What's your record? 0-3, to Charlotte going, oh, Tiffany, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? Oh, God. This is a match that was so easy to set up. Like, you're both former blonde college athletes who had no interest in wrestling, and you've come and you're taken to it like fish to water. Charlotte was a generational star a generation ago, and Tiffany's here now, and Tiffany's new hat. That is a fucking easy story to tell, but they wanted to boo-boo face and then get off the rails and get personal, and Tiffany's not 100% the right for clapping back at Charlotte in the middle of the ring, and neither is Charlotte. And yeah, it's taken a lot of the conversation off the actual match and off the actual championship, and thusly off the division, which is not what's supposed to happen. I saw people complain, oh, why is both Royal Rumble winners on the same night? One of them should surely headline. I'm like, in theory, yes, because of the way WWE advertises the Rumble, that you will go on to main event WrestleMania, not for a championship match at WrestleMania, which I think they've started to intermingle and are slowly stopping the verbiage of main event WrestleMania. The boys over at Down Under the Mat did a great bonus show talking the actual stats of how many people have gone on to main event WrestleMania from winning a Royal Rumble. So, from there, we have our main event of night one. It is the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, the best in the world, CM Punk, and the crazy Hiromu cosplayer, Seth Rollins. Now, Punk had this favour because he teamed with Roman in War Games for Bloodline versus Bloodline, and we just thought, oh, okay, it's going to be main event of WrestleMania. No, weeks pass and Punk reveals it's for Paul Heyman, my best friend, to be in my corner. And Reigns goes, just tell him no. And Paul's sort of breaking up, crying, going, no, my Tribal Chief, I can't do that. Which leads to a brawl and Paul getting laid out. Brilliant. Actually, a really good match that I'm excited for. Who gets the win here to close out night one? I think it's Punk. I think Punk coming back and backstage being such a big needle mover and merch seller and yada yada yada, and playing ball and going in the chamber and yada yada yada. Okay, main event and you get your feel good moment. It's not closing the entire WrestleMania, but it is main eventing a night of WrestleMania, which is a lot more than a lot of other wrestlers can say. So I think Uso, New Day, Mysterio, Cargill, Fatu. I don't think I gave a pick for Tiffany and Charlotte, but Tiffany and CM Punk for night one of WrestleMania. Then we go to night two, April 20th. It'll see listed, at least in the order here. This is not necessarily match card order. Triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky, the champion, against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Bianca winning the Royal Rumble. Io winning the belt from Ripley after Elimination Chamber, which was sort of played into all three women sort of wanting a match at WrestleMania, and then we get this match. Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania. Io's sort of got a poor record at WrestleMania, going in as champ and losing. And last year, she lost to Bayley. And then, was it last year or the year before? Either. And then, Rhea, I think every year she's been at Mania has been a championship match. I think Bianca wins because they're going to want to keep a streak alive at WrestleMania. And whether that ends in 3 years' time or whether that ends in 20 years' time is anyone's guess. But I think Bianca here wins the numbers game and walks out with her streak of... What is her Mania streak at the moment? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Like 5-0? Maybe? At WrestleMania, she made a WrestleMania 36, which is the pandemic WrestleMania. Debuted saving the Street Profits from Vega, Garza, and Fury. Okay. We're doing this live, folks. 37 is Raymond James Stadium, which was supposed to be the location for 36 before everything. and which is why we have 2 night WrestleManias. I'm just having a look now. It is a lot of trying to sort through stuff. Bianca defeats Sasha in the main event of night 1 at 37, so she is 1-0. Then we go to 38, which is Dallas, not Sportorium, the AT&T Stadium. She goes on to night 1, match number 4. She defeats Becky Lynch for a title, so she is 2-0. Then we go to night 3, not night 3, 39. Hollywood. Who'd she face at WrestleMania Hollywood? That's 2 years ago. Asuka. And she won 3-0. Did she have a match last year? WrestleMania XL. Extra large. Oh god, Jimmy and Jay match. Forgot about that. Come on. Oh, she had the 6-woman tag. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi defeat Damage Control on night 1. She's also someone who likes a lot of WrestleMania night 1s, it seems. So this will be her first WrestleMania night 2. So that's also interesting as well. Do they build up a thing of, somebody's undefeated at WrestleMania night 1 and this is their first night 2 and they lose? Possibly. Tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Judgment Day. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lila Valkyria. Yes, your WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion is on the show, not defending her title. Also, the Women's US Champion, not on this show. The SmackDown Champion, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, not on this show. They're just either going to pack this full of ads or video packages or both, which I do not like the idea of. I hate the idea of Lyra and Bayley winning, but that does lead to Roxanne, Perez and Cora Jade coming up and facing Bayley and Lyra and taking the belts off Bayley and Lyra. And then Bayley and Lyra spin off into their own feud, and you have Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez as women's tag champs on the main roster. Otherwise, this is dumb. I still think Judgment Day are going to win. Match number 3, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul in a singles match. AJ wins. Perhaps, maybe even. I don't know, I don't really have much to say about that match. Match number 4, fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, the defending champ, versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. If you haven't seen this already, go out of your way to catch the Braun Breaker math clip. I'll try to put a link in the description if I remember. Who wins that? Do you put the belt on Penta, or do they do the draft again shortly after Mania and put the 2 Lucha Bros together on one show and have them go after Tag Gold? Because that's also a thing. You could also do a thing where Finn's got the pin and Dominic throws him out and steals the pin, and you tease the Judgment Day tension. I'm going to go Dominic for this one. Sin City Street Fight, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Drew here, because he had a real glass in his eye. Open challenge of Randy Orton versus mystery opponent. Instead of picking who I think will win, I'll pick who I think the mystery opponent will be, and I will say Rusev/Miro. I think that's a fair shout. There's also Hornswoggle back in WWE doing WWE World signings, so that's pretty cool. I doubt it's going to be him. As much as I'd love Hornswoggle to get a WrestleMania payday, to be instantly killed by Randy Orton does not seem good. And in your main event, Cody Rhodes, the defending champ, against John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship, the heel John Cena. I honestly think Cena's going to win. It's either Cena wins or Cody wins and Cena goes away for a few months and then comes back as a babyface again and finishes his appearances for the year. Yeah, I still think Cena. I'm going to lock in Cena. So, night 2 picks of Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I think Bianca. I think Judgment Day are going to retain their women's tag gold. AJ Styles over Logan Paul. Dominic Mysterio to walk out of the 4-way for the IC title with the gold. Drew McIntyre defeats Damian Priest. Randy Orton's mystery opponent, Rusev/Miro, and John Cena to defeat Cody Rhodes. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Little fun preview for you humans here before WrestleMania officially begins and NXT begins in like 4 hours from now when the show gets posted. But with that being said, you can go follow us on our socials using the link in the... I don't know, Alex normally does all this part. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Wrestling Oz Style with an AUS. You can listen back to the archive for free on SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, using the RSS feed for iTunes, for Apple, or also on YouTube. Nothing left to say but good day, and we'll speak to you next time. And yes, I know people have said Randy Orton's mystery opponent is going to be Jeff Cobb. He just finished his last date in New Japan as I am recording this. I do not think the man is getting on a plane and going straight to the US to be Randy Orton's mystery opponent. Although I have known to be wrong on occasion.